According to the government's latest data, more than 770,000 people were unhoused in a single night in 2024, up 18% from the year before and the highest number ever recorded.
I want you to have rental insurance before you move in. Standard rental insurance is probably about $25 a month. Let's just say that. Before you can even move into this house, sitting in a savings account somewhere or just idle money, you already got to come off of this amount of money.
A listing on Facebook for an apartment, and I've been living in my car for over a year trying to save, and they blocked me and took all my money that I've saved for months.
Feels like right now I'm pulling over on the side of the road with a shattered windshield. My life sucks, but you know what? Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be great. It doesn't matter. We're gonna be fine. We're all gonna be fine.
Peace and blessings. It's your boy Hope. Welcome back to another video and welcome to 2025. I'm praying that you find yourselves in a blessed position right now because many Americans are not, as we can see. We have people fighting for somewhere to live, put a house over their head. It's insane right now. We're talking about the homeless, housing, rental, affordability crisis that Americans are finding themselves in. You ask yourselves, how are people affording to put a roof over their head? Very creative ways, and I'm going to show you into this entire video how they're doing it. It's insane right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that, but please drop your story down below. Let's push this into the algorithm.
Okay, cool. So I'm having to move out of my house because I can't afford rent. So I'm moving into my parents' property. But one time I couldn't afford rent either, and I was driving down the highway to try and go get help from social services, and the hood of my car smashed into my windshield and shattered it. So I pulled over, and this lady behind me pulled over and turns out I happen to know her. So she helps me get to the social services office, and I'm calling my dad, and he's like out of state or out of town. And as I'm there, this other lady overhears me, and she's like, I'll call AAA and have them tow your car for free. What's your address? So they gave me a ride home, towed my car for free. A couple of days later, my friends called me, and they're like, hey, let's go out. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't go out. I can't even get to work. My car is completely wrecked. The windshield's wrecked. I can't even make rent. I don't know how I'm going to fix this, so sorry, guys. And they're like, hey, you know what? We just ran into some cash, and we want to help you. So they paid for my car, they got me a rental, and they paid for rent for me that month. And you want to know something? If the hood of my car hadn't flown up and shattered my windshield, none of that would have happened. I wouldn't have gotten any help, and I probably wouldn't have been able to pay rent that month because I never would have told them that, hey, I can't pay rent. Sorry, I can't go out. I'd have been like, sure, let's go out. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, you know what? Me moving into my parents' house at 30 is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me. It feels like right now I'm pulling over on the side of the road with a shattered windshield. My life sucks, but you know what? Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be great. It doesn't matter. We're going to be fine. We're all going to be fine.
This video is about to get and what many will say inconceivable ideas of how people are surviving here in America. I wanted to go ahead and start us off with something light. I'm going to do a little sandwich approach for this video, a little bit of good. It's going to be a little tough. And then at the end, I'm going to give us something nice as well to end off on. So stay into the end, but let's go ahead and hop into this right now. We're talking about the video clip here. This is a true good little way to ease us in because a lot of people are about to go through pain. And a lot of people are in pain right now. As we can see in the video, through this effect of something happening with her car, if that didn't happen, she wouldn't have been able to get that blessing. Things that we may not be able to see. If we turn our head to the right a little bit to angle it right, we'll be able to see the blessing or the lesson that's supposed to come out of this disaster or any circumstances that we find ourselves in. So I'm a strong believer that if you need to have something outside of yourself right now, especially in these times, to go ahead and get through this. If you don't, you're already going through this hard stuff, you're going to go through even more hard stuff because you have nothing to see more than yourself. So that's my take on that. But let's go ahead and hop in here into the top comment here at last week's video. I want to say thank you for your time. We got Carney Barbie here. Big shout out. Please, if you do want to go ahead and get mentioned in the next week's video, please just drop down your comment and we'll go ahead and get you on here. But let's go ahead and talk about this. And please let me know if you agree as well in the comments down below. All right, Carney Barbie said, I'm Gen X and most of my generation are not anywhere near as well off as our parents. I feel awful for millennials and Gen Z, but please don't think Gen Xers are doing well. We're not. I understand that. Yeah, I do. Because inflation is not discriminating against anybody, any generation. That dollar is going to get eroded. Unfortunately, this is the direction that our government is going to have to take. So we got to do what we have to do, as we can see in these stories that Americans are doing. So let's go and hop into this right now.
Today is Friday and the rent is due. I'm feeling some kind of way, right? I don't really have much money after I pay rent. I might have like $300, and that'll probably go to my gas to get back and forth to work throughout the whole week until I get paid again. But I'm literally working just to pay rent for us to have a place to sleep. I don't know. I feel so sad, right? All my situations, but I did get something in the mail from the police station about my son and the situation with the vapes, right? So I'm hoping when I go to court, I have court cases that I have to fight too. So when I go to court, I'm hoping that all this evidence can help me in court. But I gotta go to work today, and I'm feeling some type of way. And because yesterday I had to leave work early because I had to pick up my daughter because she was having cramps and she was in the bathroom throwing up. So, you know, the school nurse is like, come get your daughter. So I had to stop working and drive an hour to go pick her up, and just not having anybody that I could depend on to help me, no family, just nobody. She was saying to me, she said, do you have anybody that you could call? And I told her, no, there's nobody to call. I'm literally by myself.
Listing on Facebook for an apartment, and I've been living in my car for over a year trying to save, and they blocked me and took all my money that I've saved for months.
Finally got an update from my bank. I disputed the transaction immediately with my bank while I was waiting for the police to arrive at the apartment that I was at. The police showed up and I filed a police report. I told the police what was happening while I was on the phone with my bank, telling them what was happening. The police officer let me know there probably wasn't going to be any justice for me for up to a year. But I got an email today from my bank. They're not going to give me my money back. It was more than the amount that they even disputed. They wouldn't even dispute 3 other transactions that I had sent to them. There was another $1,000 that they wouldn't even dispute for me because I had sent it, even though it was a scam. It was $2,250 that I lost. I just really hope that they needed it more than I did.
Definitely heard that right. Double-digit increase in homelessness in America. We have people one flat tire away from being homeless, from missing that one paycheck. You're working just to pay rent. One mistake away. We have people living in storages, pregnant, because they have no community, no family to turn to. I'm telling you right now, inflation is only going to get worse. After the great financial crisis, the government chose to inflate our dollars away with our national debt. This is the undeniable truth. This is the undeniable truth of the matter. You can put your head in the sand as long as you want, but it's time to prepare. It's time to come closer with your community, closer with your family. As we can see through the comments here, people are literally saying, oh, at least you're not homeless. At least you're not on the street. Technically, you're homeless. At least you have a roof over your head, which is, yes, it's true. That's good. And wishing her blessings is all that as well. But if we had family and community, we would have somewhere else to turn. And it's unfortunate that, yes, our government should be able to go ahead and provide housing for some people, but they're not. This is no longer just trying to get rich. This is just for you to keep up. You have to have multiple skills right now. And you have to go ahead and get out and get it. Every opportunity that you have. I mean, I'm just being real with you.
I'm about to say may piss a lot of landlords off, but I don't really care at all. But I'm going to read to y'all the qualifications that this person wants for this house. And it ain't an amazing ass house. We're not talking about anything super expensive. The rent, like I said, is $16.95, $40 application fee per adult. They want you to make 3.5 times the rent. Standard, for whatever reason, is 3 times the rent. When majority of Americans don't even make 3 times a $1,600 a month rent. I don't know where people just get up and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this a national standard that people have to make 3 times the rent amount. Majority of people can afford 2 times the rent on a specific basic home like this. But this person is going even further. They don't want you to have 3 times the rent. They want you to have 3.5 times the rent. They want the last 2 years of your W-2s, the last 3 months of your check stub, driver's license or ID, social security card. They want you to make 2 months worth of rent as your security deposit before you even move in, and you have to have a credit score of at least a 670. I'm trying to tell you off the bat, that disqualifies so many people from being able to be in a home that is decent. Let's add that up, why don't we? Off the rip, you have to pay first month's rent, $16.95. You have to pay $40 application fee per adult, and let's just say the standard adult is 2 adults, right? You have to pay, if you have a pet, which majority of people in Houston do have pets, dogs, it's a $250 non-refundable fee per pet. So let's just say you have a pet. We're going to add that up. And then you have to make 2 months of the rent to equal the amount of the security deposit. So that's $16.95 times 2. All right. And on top of that, we're not even talking about your utilities and all the things that you have set up. They want you to have rental insurance before you move in. Standard rental insurance is probably about $25 a month. Let's just say that. Before you can even move into this house, sitting in a savings account somewhere or just idle money, you already got to come off of this amount of money. I don't know at what point we stop being human, though. Even as an investor and a landlord, at what point did we stop being human and we say money trumps everything, including people? I don't get it.
So the stories that you have when you basically live in a hotel is like never ending. So I get back from work and my room smells like farts. I kind of didn't notice it. Like, I was like, okay, like, whatever. Then all of a sudden, it starts smelling like sewage. And I was like, this is kind of, like, a problem. There's no sewage or anything backing up that I can see in the bathroom. So I called the front desk, and I was like, hey, like, I think I can smell sewage in the room. And then they were like, oh, okay. So this guy comes up with a spray bottle. He's like, can I spray stuff in your room? And I was like, yeah, but, like, spraying room spray doesn't change the fact that, like, the room... why wafting through this room? And he just like sprayed a bunch of stuff and was like, okay, have a nice night, ma'am. And then I called the front desk. I was like, okay, like, your guy just came up and sprayed stuff. Like, that doesn't change the fact that there's sewage. And they were like, yeah, we'll change rooms. So now I'm gonna eat my pizza and then I'm gonna change rooms. But this is like, sometimes hotel rooms just smell really weird. Like, I've had to change rooms because of weird smells before, but yeah.
Oh, hey y'all, hey. So because of these housing prices are insane, the average rent in Atlanta for a 2-bedroom apartment is about $2,400 a month. That's just crazy to me. People are thinking outside of the box in terms of places where their family can live. And so a lot of people have turned to extended stay hotels and motels, with the average cost monthly being around $1,200. These places have become the new home for so many people that in March of this year, a Georgia court ruled in favor of these long-term residents of these extended stay places, in that the proprietors cannot evict them with like they're just staying at a hotel. They have to go through formal eviction processes, which can be very lengthy. I mean, their kids are getting picked up with school buses from there. They're getting mail there. It's their home. Crop a free ball.
Unless you're a corporation, it is very tough for the mom and pop, the tenant, landlord. I understand that situation is tough because you have people who are unfortunately squatters or who may not qualify, try to get in, and you try to block with that as much as you can. So you have higher requirements, with that affects people getting into the homes and getting into apartments. And I understand it's a lot right now. And so I do understand how people are getting creative enough to go live in hotels. At first, I was like, what are you talking about, living in hotels? But I'm seeing from the comments, a couple $100 per week. That's just to go ahead and stay, a roof over your head, electricity, utilities, all that. I literally, Airbnb maybe, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. It makes sense. And this is the reality that we're living in right now. This is just one creative way. I have another one here right now that I want to go ahead and get into. And please, for all, because I'm black, so all my skin folk, please let me know if you agree with this next creative idea, if you would do this. So let's go ahead and hop into that right now.
Come take a tour of my 2-bedroom, 1-bath, $300 a month rent house. To preface, I live in the middle of nowhere in a small town in Arkansas. Also, houses in my town are not very expensive either if you want to buy one. And yes, it is only $300 a month to live here. I'm not going to show the bedrooms because I'm not going to show you my son's bedroom and mine and my husband's bedroom because that's weird. But I will show my bathroom and living room and kitchen. To start off with, we got this big ass mirror and all my little goodies. My little crystal collection. Not gonna lie, I got that off of Temu. I wouldn't say it's very girly pop. Not a big fan of this like ancient, I don't know what to call this. This house was built in like the 60s, okay? But I would say I like this part of the bottom cabinet. But yeah, you can tell it's pretty old. It's been pretty worn down. The woman that lived here before us, she lived here for 20 years and it was filthy whenever we moved in, and it took about like 3 weeks to deep clean it. And then we have a small little hallway. Here's some storage right here that just has some tools and all the diapers, and we have way too many blankets. And now you see my son getting into some shit. Hello, Ollie. This is a very ratchet PC setup that is my husband's. And we're gonna go over here. Miss Rachel's life, by the way. And here is the living room. The reason why the ice maker is like in the middle of the living room is because whenever we moved in, there wasn't a single 3-prong plug-in. And this is a 3-prong plug-in. And the only 3-prong plug-in was under there. Goodwill recliner. This bad boy heats up the entire house. Also slightly embarrassing Funko Pop collection. That's my husband's. Look at how cute we are. No. And during the summer, that cools off the house pretty well. I know I need to take out the trash. Shut up. But here's the washer. She didn't paint that one to match the vibe. And here is our kitchen. We haven't had an oven in the 3 years that we lived together. I don't even think we would know how to use an oven at this point. So the litter box goes there because there's nowhere else to put it. I primarily cook out of the toaster oven, microwave, and the Instapot. The Instapot, if you don't have an Instapot, get one. It makes life so much easier. And I'll probably put some of my recipes up later. Say the bills in total come around about $600, $700 a month, not counting groceries or anything. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom and live paycheck to paycheck, but you know, it is possible to find somewhere cheap to live because in this economy, ain't no way we're getting a house anytime soon that we own. So we just make do with what we have. We live humbly, but we love it here.
Now, to my skin folk people, would you go and move to Arkansas? Please let me know. Would you feel like I might get shot living in this neighborhood or living in this state? I don't know who's next to me. Would you be willing to go with $300 for rent? Would you stack your bread and get that $300 for rent and live in nowhere? Or would you go ahead and I'm still going to keep on struggling out here paycheck to paycheck? Please let me know your thoughts below in the comments. I definitely have to get into that. It's insane. But yeah, I mean, we can see here, some people are making it work. Some people are saying it's not too bad. I mean, some people are willing to bust that move for that $300 piece. I mean, I understand.
And I can't go far, cause you know I can't afford it anyway. Can't rely on my own damn money. I'm so broke that it's not.
Y'all wanted to just go ahead and leave off a little bit on a lighter note, so we have this nice song here for us, because I know it's tough out here and the struggle is real, but keep your head up. It's your boy Hope in the Desert. I've covered out so many topics here on this cost of living crisis. Please go ahead and click on this next video. But until the next time, I'll see you, YouTube.